am Dr. Decker, humble servant of His Majesty Hirohito. By divine destiny, my country shall destroy the democratic forces of evil in the United States to make way for the new order. And the page, step up to him. Slap his face. Step back.
Why, you devil?
Welcome to a new episode of the Movie Dawgs Show, our first new episode of 2022. And this is all about Batman. That's right, folks. We're having our countdown to the Batman. Matt Reeves the Batman, which will be coming out in March. So we're going to be doing a kind of a countdown show all the way up to the release of that film. And we're going to be talking about Batman on film, all the live-action incarnations of Batman. Also, folks, support this channel and subscribe this year. Let's try to make 2022 a big year for this channel, and let's get us up in those subscriptions by subscribing to the Movie Dawgs channel. Also, like this video, share it on all social media outlets that you possibly can, folks. All right, folks, let's get into it. Our countdown to the Batman. All right, well, we're going to talk about the 1943 to, I'm sorry. It's, the 1940s, Batman serials. It's all, first time, Batman was played live action. This was, back in them days, it was pretty exciting to see comic book characters come to life. You know, there was Superman. Of course, there was Zorro, Tarzan, and the Phantom. So many characters. Shazam, or was back then known as Captain Marvel. There was, and even Captain America was given the 19 serials treatment. What a Saturday matinee serial was a sometimes a 12 to 15 chapter plot that moved along weekly. It was kind of like the precursor to television. And of course, the format is now kind of a Saturday morning serial is being used on the streaming services. So, that tradition's still going. If you watch a lot of these shows, especially comic book shows that are on streaming platforms, they kind of leave off on cliffhangers, like the old Saturday morning serials. But Batman was first played in the first production, titled Batman, by Lewis G. Wilson. And then by the time the 1945 serial rolled around, Robert Lowry ended up playing the Caped Crusader. that second time around. Now the serials, I'll admit that they were not works of art. Columbia, who was notorious for the low budget serials of those times, were producing them, and they would put nothing but as much budget as they could into them, because they were kind of looked upon. They weren't feature films, so they weren't looked really as upon as a major priority, just a quick cash grab. Sounds familiar nowadays, don't it, folks? Anyway, it's a sign of the times when you watch these. I highly recommend you do. As I said, they're not works of art. They're a little cringe-worthy on some points, when you look at the technology of, obviously they're not going to hold up for today's standards. That's impossible. But I do have to recommend you guys check out these serials, because they are, they can be very entertaining for what they are, and it's a sign of the times that there are some stereotypes of like one villain in the first original chapter serial. It was a white man playing an Asian, and of course we were in the middle of World War II at the time, so unfortunately Japanese were looked upon all as evil, which wasn't true, of course. But I can't, as I said, it's not something that you can remember and be memorable about. There's some really cool action scenes. Back then, stuntmen were literally giving their lives for the movies. But again, I'd have to, recommend you guys to really check these out. They're just, it's a historical, one of those historical grabs that, that you can find on DVD and Blu-ray now, and it will go great with your Batman collection, on movie collection. And as I said, out of morbid curiosity, I watched them back in the late 90s when Comedy Central started. It was known as the Comedy Channel, and they'd actually play the old 1940s serials on there. And I can remember in some scenes, you see Batman running around in a building being chased, and my mom was like, "That's not the most heroic Batman I've seen." And so, as I said, there's some things that you got to take tongue in cheek when it comes to, and of course the acting too. But it's it is what it is. They were pumping these things out as fast as possible to get them out there, and minor details were overlooked because you're given a small budget of anything. You're going to get what you put into it. So, but again, I highly recommend. The first one came out in 1943. It's just titled Batman, and of course 1949 came Batman and Robin. Again, actors changed and for that one, and because it'd been a good amount of space, but they were both very successful. Believe it or not, a movie called Batman and Robin was successful once in a blue moon, But again, I said there's nothing much I can really say. I said it's so much of the 1940s when you come to see how society was. I can't remember if there was any minorities in this or not. That's just a sign of the times. That's how it was, and luckily, things have changed. But I wouldn't just dismiss it because of that. I wouldn't dismiss these serials for anything. It's just how things are perceived and back in those days, and when we learn from our faults and we move on. I can't stress though how much love I have for Batman, that I gave it a chance, and and I didn't walk away from it disappointed. You kind of get long-winded, nowadays, I can remember as a kid, a TV show would last 24, 25 episodes out of a season, out of a calendar season for that series. And but nowadays, we're all trained to be so short attention span when it comes to our television shows. They're now knocked down to 15, so even that feels like it's long-winded. So, but you know, if you're gonna go into this, you can go into it. I wouldn't recommend you like binge watch this. I mean, I'm not a big fan of binge watching much anymore. So, I would take my time on it. You know, sit down, watch a couple episodes, maybe. You know, turn it off, and then come back to it. You know, because it always leaves. You know, the episodes or in chapters always pick up from where they left off, and they explain, you know, the previous plot up to that point. So it's I really would recommend you guys check these two serials out. Of course, you know, 1943 Batman and the 1949 Batman and Robin serials. And these guys, you know, they gave it their all. You know, I mean, the guys who played Robin and all the other, you know, core characters that do pop up. None of the Batman villains, though, do really show up in the, you know, the traditional Batman ones. You know, we'd have to wait till, you know, 1966, you know, for all that to kind of start making its mark. But again, check them out. I mean, it's it's worth its weight in gold. I admit, I'd have to say it would. I mean, fun, campy a little bit, cringe-worthy a little bit, because you know I didn't live around that time, and I didn't understand a lot of the lingo or the habits of some people, or how, you know, society was back then. You know, my father, you know, he kind of understood a lot of stuff because, you know, he was born in the 1940s, and he kind of knew some of the habits of how some people react, you know, or how people how society was at that time. So, you know, he would have understand what was going on. But again, you know, check them out. All right, folks. Well, that is the first episode of the countdown to the Batman. If you have seen these two 1940 serials, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you remember of it and what you thought. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on this video, and by all means, folks, you know, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. Let's really get the numbers up this year. Last year was absolutely wonderful, and I'm hoping for big things for this channel to really take off. It's year 7, and I've been wanting to do Batman theme shows for quite a while, and I'm finally getting the time to do it. And no better way to start than the beginning of the year, folks, and getting ready for that new Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves directed Batman. You know, we've seen the images. Well, I'm impressed. So it's my most anticipated film of the year, and hopefully we get to see it in theaters. You know, that's, you know, I've seen just about every Batman in theaters. So, but okay, folks, don't forget, you haven't yet subscribed, and if you please hit that thumb up, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell, and you get all notifications of new videos debuting on this channel. All right, folks, next up, we'll be talking about the camp craze of the 1960s, and a pop culture phenomenon that still lives on to this day. And all right, folks, that's been the Movie Dawgs Show, here, of course, on the Movie Dawgs channel. Thanks for watching. Please keep on watching, folks. Bye.